Hi Seema, how are you?
Hi Ranjeet, I'm fine. How are you?
Good, good. So I think we have a lot of questions today. So let's shoot one by
Yeah.
one.
Yeah, sure, Ranjit. The first question is by Rupa Nath. She's asking, how can I demonstrate that I'm earning a high salary as a senior modeling engineer in India? The challenge is that platforms like Glassdoor and the pay scale only provide average salary ranges for modeling engineers, making it difficult to pinpoint where I stand as a professional, as a senior professional. I have heard that providing high salaries often results in the RFE, especially without specific data for comparison. Given this, how can I effectively showcase that my salary exceeds that of my peers?
Oh, very elaborate. And I must say, Rupa, this is a very, very well drafted question and very incisive and very precise. Now, definitely, I think there are a lot of layers into this, and we will try to do this step by step. The response, yes, you need to kind of respond, to this particular criteria, giving a comparison with your peers. So this can happen in multiple ways, Rupa. What you can do, number one, is you can compare salaries as compared to, even you can get some kind of comparison sheet from, let us say, Onet, and so there are some BLS sites which are based in the USA. But before you do that, you might like to convert your salary into a purchase equal using the formula by purchasing power parity. It's a conversion that what happens is, if what is an equivalent salary, it is not a conversion from rupee to dollar straight away. It's the United Nations comes out with a purchasing power parity conversion chart. So for example, as of now, roughly 25 rupees is equal to $1. It basically means that whatever you can purchase in the USA for $1, you would need to spend 25 rupees in India. So you can convert your Indian salary into the US and then you can compare it. That's one way to do it. Second way that what you can do is, possibly you can, apart from Glassdoor and other things, there might be some sites available that might give you a comparison. I'm not aware of specific sites for India like in the USA what you have. But if you are not able to do that, then the third option is to get some kind of an note or a letter or an expert opinion from either a recruiter who deals with salaries and other aspects. Second option for you is to get an expert opinion letter from some tax accountant who files returns. I think that would be the one of the very good ways to kind of present your salary. Yes, but always remember that salary is not the only criteria that for the purpose of EB1A. But I like your question, which is very, very incisive and very detailed. If you don't do this properly, definitely there is a good chance of it would become a recipe for RFE. We have seen that people, I mean, I'm just giving you a comparison of US salaries here. Somebody getting 150K can sail through, and even people drawing close to $1 million, if not presented properly, may result in RFE or even rejection. So one should be very mindful of this particular aspect here. I hope we have answered your question. So Seema, is that fine?
Yeah, thank you, Ranjit. I think Rupa has got her answer. So the
Wonderful.
next question is Annie. Annie is asking, how do we prove a critical role? Do we need letters from the current employers and previous employer? Are those needed on the official letterhead? And next question in the same next part in the same question is, how about if the manager or the person providing the letter already changed the job?
Okay. Now, please remember that for the purpose of your EB1A, you need to provide evidence standard, which is called a preponderance of evidence. That's the first and the foremost thing that one should always remember. Uh, every letter that you provide need not necessarily be on the letterhead here. That's the first and foremost. What possibly one can do is one can prove that one has been employed out there. That is one part, that one was employed during that time. That definitely will be proved by virtue of your appointment letter or some kind of a evidences that will be there that you have worked there. uh, as far as the specific role is letters are concerned, it could be from the person who has the knowledge of your performance. It could be done on a letterhead, or even on not on a letterhead. It could be done on a in that person's individual capacity, who has kind of has knowledge of the work that whatever you have done. In case the person has left the job, maybe he can still give a letter that during this period, you see, one good thing about, you see, one possible thing that you can do is that that person will have to still establish his locus of giving that letter, in a way that that person can always say that, you know, let's say for example, I'm giving a letter for Seema, so I would say that, I have Seema, and I have known Seema for X years, and in my capacity as her supervisor for this particular role during this company when I was employed, and that person can give an evidence of that person's employment during that period, and then say that what was the performance of Seema during that particular period. So even if that person, your manager, has left the company, still that would be very much possible. I think that helps. I think, Annie, for you.
Yeah, thank you, Ranjit. The next question is from an anonymous member. I have been researching in the field of genetics for the past 11 years and have received multiple awards for my work. Will this prove my critical role and meet the award criteria?
Uh, well, I think I always make a statement, and I like to say that, keep doing your good work and don't try to fit yourself into the criteria. You may have 100 accomplishments, and we would kind of rather use those accomplishments and try to see how the criteria fit into your profile. Now, if you have got awards, now is it an company based award, or was it a national and international award? Was it independently given? What was the degree of recognition? Frankly speaking, without that knowledge, it is very difficult for us to comment on that. Now, let us assume two scenarios, that it is an international award or a national level award you have got for your certain work that what you have done. If that being the case, possibly it may fit into a award criteria, might be a good option for you depending on the nature of evidences that you are able to produce. Now, second possibility is that only the company gave you that award. Now, if that award has been given to by the company, possibly this limits the award for the critical role, and how that award was relevant for your activity and your success, that will have to kind of demonstrated by some, like in the previous question, there was a question of a manager or somebody, or the company can give a letter of recommendations, and that would be helpful. Now, the third question, you are saying that will this prove my critical role and meet the award criteria? Well, I don't know, till such time we see from where that award is coming actually. Now, let us say, for example, and most important thing, I think this is an anonymous question, so we don't know the name. But if that award has been given to the company, not to you individually, it might be a bit challenging to kind of meet the award criteria. But nevertheless, for critical role, the company can give a declaration saying that it was because of you they got the award. So that may still, but definitely congratulations if you have got something. So, or your company has got something, you can definitely utilize it. Now, Seema, we have one guest today for the show. We take every, guys, we invite a guest for the show every week, at least one guest. So we have got Lena here. So we'll be requesting her to join, and we will take her to the stage right now, and we will let her ask the questions in person. And guys, if you want to ask every week, please reach out to us. We'll be more than happy. Thank you. So let me ask. Hi, Lena. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you, Ranjeet sir?
I'm very good. So, Lena, how can I
Thank
help you?
I am, as you know, we've spoken earlier. I'm working on an EB1 case, actually, two of them. I had a question. We have received, this is for case number one, is technology developed for a trucking company. This is a software. The candidate has already received EB2 NIW approval in the trucking technology software. However, now aspiring for the EB1A, my question to you was, can letters of intent be used in place of awards?
What do you mean by letter of intent? Could you be more specific?
Yes. So there have been two companies that this trucking company works with, and they would like to use the software that this company has developed as users of the software, and they will be paying a fee for that.
Very, very, very interesting question. I must say that. Well, let me give you my perception on that. And obviously, I don't have to say this. This is not a legal advice,
Sure.
but uh, there are cases in the past, Lina, where we have suggested to people, and it has worked very effectively. That if one were to get a private equity or a venture fund or a seed capital, even that could constitute as an award. Okay, now we are taking it to a next level even after that, where we are saying that certain degree of or set of companies put together are consistently using this. It, in my view, this could be a little bit of stretch, let me tell you. But depending on the intensity of the level of outreach, let's put it that way, in terms of, because you are comparing this with a national or international award.
Mhm.
Now let us put it this way, Lina. Let us say I'm running a company in India, or I'm a small company. Okay. If Google were to have a contract with me, okay,
Mhm.
something or some kind of a service, and there would be perpetual contract, and that gives me a huge amount of money. That
Correct.
results in a huge amount of money. So basically, we are trying to create an impact factor by virtue of this.
Mhm.
I think it would be worth a try at that particular point of time
Mhm.
to demonstrate that the work product that has been created, that has by the particular person, has resulted in certain degree of high recognition,
Mhm.
has attracted the attention of such renowned company like Google. I'm just making this case randomly.
Yeah. Mhm.
There would be certain degree of one will have to identify similar situations in the precedents, a case laws or something which might be useful. Now, if the case is something similar, it might be worth the try, but a lawyer would be a best judge to put it into an application. If I had somebody like this in our program and then try to help, possibly, you know, I'll be happy to work that person's lawyer to do this, but it will be very unique. And this question looks to me as a very unique. However, there is a caveat here. Assuming that this is not to that excellence level, I mean, it's not about a company like Google giving $1 million contract or something, then it is going to be very difficult. Then it is a routine business actually. Then it
Mhm.
fit into a critical role, possibly nothing more than that. I hope
Oh,
that
great.
answers.
Yeah, that does. Thank you. Can do I have scope for another question, please?
Please go ahead. Please go ahead.
So EB1A is largely about designing a profile and packaging it in a way that suits the EB1 requirements. How do you suggest candidates to get media coverage? Because we are constantly working in our roles, in our jobs, but for an entrepreneur, for a company that's begun 4 years back, moved from $1,000 to $1 million company, the entrepreneur is really busy working the company and making sure everything is going, great there, building the company. But we don't really go looking for the media coverage. How do you strategize getting media coverage?
Okay. Now, I mean, I would like to take one step back before I jump into responding to your question. Okay. Now, first, as you rightly said, I think you have understood the criteria in a very effective manner. That it's not about you trying to fit into the criteria; it's about your whole narrative that you create. And basically, how we try to demonstrate that you have risen to the top, in your field of expertise. That's the whole narrative that we have to present here. Now, having said that, in my personal opinion, let me tell you, media is one of the most challenging and difficult thing to achieve. I have always, I have had a lot of when I applied for my own EB1A, I have had my lot of media coverages, but they were very organic in nature. It was a as a part of a natural and growth evolution itself. Now, first of all, it may not suit everybody because we are talking about being an entrepreneur and then trying to do something. as a part of your business, there might be some strategies. The company might be having some PR strategies.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this fit into that because normally press releases won't be useful. Let's be clear about it. First I want to
Correct.
tell you,
Correct.
because it is not about somebody writing about you. It is that you are issuing a, because nowadays even in electronic media, people can just publish anything as a press release. So it is not important. Like for example, if I'm talking about my company, the next league, then this next league won't be that. I mean, I talking about myself and saying that this is a criteria of fulfillment won't make much sense at all. Actually,
Mm-hmm.
in that case, I will have to have somebody else talking about me. Number two is, or I should be quoted in some general stories. Okay.
Does that hold weight to be quoted in some general stories in
Yes.
media?
General stories in a sense that as an expert, if you are being called, for example, let us say I'm a automotive vehicle expert. Tomorrow there is a legislation being passed and you can be asked about it. I'm a finance expert, let us say in India, and there is a budget happening. So I comment on the budget, somebody is publishing it. Now, you see, please remember, in it's about creating a narrative. One particular act may not be suitable, but collectively a summation of that, if you can prove that it was because of your expertise that you were invited, and normally a self initiative, it would be very difficult to prove that impact. For example, if you publish a book also, let us say, and just put it on KDP, I'm not very sure how good it might be for EB1A, because today anybody
Okay.
can. So same thing is applicable to PR. I would always suggest that don't try to fit as a part of evolution of your professional nature, of
Mm-hmm.
your activities, whatever you are doing. If it fits into the profile, I think it would be a good idea. That's what I would say that. And I would always personally believe that do things which are in fully in your control first. But if you're talking about still as a business strategy now, if you ask me, as a part of your own profile building, if you want to kind of have more, I have seen a lot of journalists more than LinkedIn to be available on Twitter.
Twitter.
If
Okay.
Okay, now for example, if I have to reach out to, let us say, I'm just again kind of making this up, let us say, if as next league executive board, if I have to kind of promote myself, I would identify some top 100 journalists in the world who write about US immigration and EB1A.
Mm-hmm.
And I would reach out to them and ask them what stories they're doing, or maybe appreciate their stories, write letters to the
Mm-hmm.
editor.
Okay.
And normally I have always seen, Lina, that journalists are very responsive, are highly
Oh, really?
professional.
That's interesting to know.
They are very responsive, but if you don't do, obviously don't expect somebody to knock your doors. You see, they will never, people will, because same thing is applicable to us, because if somebody reaches out to us, we are inclined to respond to them. But if you reach out to 100 people, maybe 20 will reach out to you. Out of the 20, maybe 10 or 5 to 10 will have something. And once it starts, your
Mm-hmm.
name appearing on Google and your name becomes Googleable, I think more and more that will happen. So it is a part of, but you should definitely have some substance. So I
Mm-hmm.
always suggest people in the program also that keep the media as the last, as a byproduct of the work that you have done. It
Correct.
is not, no, I mean, you can just, I mean, why should somebody like Forbes should talk about you? Let us say that. Why
Mm-hmm.
should post or somebody should talk about you? So I would
So
rather,
actually, sorry, can I cut you off here for a minute? You brought up a very interesting topic that why would Forbes cover you? But there are agencies who say that we can actually get you covered in Forbes. Do you think that's worth a try?
I am not sure about how that would happen. It is like just, I would rather look at it something like this, you need some kind of an assistance, and there are agencies who are assisting you. Either you have your company, if you're running a company, even Elon Musk would have a public relation firms in his establishment who would administer certain things. So if I'm not against kind of a public relation firm, because they are some of them are doing a very very professional and wonderful job. But then the question is of whether as an individual you want to do it, or as a company you are doing it. Is it part of your individual? Because the profession, I mean, a good PR firm would definitely worth its money, would be definitely be expensive initiative to be undertaken. And some of them are doing a good job actually. So there is
Mm-hmm.
absolutely nothing wrong in that. I hope that answers
Mm-hmm.
your question, Lina.
It does. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much, sir.
Definitely, and wish you all the best. And you can get back to us if you need anything else.
Sure.
Thank you.
Sure. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, Seema. So let's take a last question. We have, I think, a
Yeah.
lot of questions we'll take up next week. Yeah, please.
Sure, Ranjit. So the last question is from the PSI. PSI is asking which are some easy to access publishing platforms for the non-research candidates. That is the first part. Second part is how many papers must one publish at minimum to comfortably meet the criteria? And can social media posts serve as a substitute for paper publishing?
It's a very kind of intense questions, and I mean, I may not like to give response in terms of yes and no's here. Actually,
Yeah,
easy to publish. There is nothing easy. Let's be clear. Uh,
true.
you have to if you are talking or tackling the publication criteria, I would always suggest that one should have a publication where there is some kind of an assessment done before it is being published. So, to give a short answer to your first question, easy to publish, there is nothing easy. So it has to be difficult because there has to be some kind of an editorial review or a peer review before it is being published. Social media posts serve as a substitute for paper publishing. It would be a very infructuous question in this particular case, because social media post, you can do post anything, everybody becomes a publisher from that perspective. So don't take the word publishing in a very literal manner.
Yeah.
I would just go a step back here. Please remember, no one, for the purpose of your EB1A, is assessing how many papers you have got, how many articles you have published. It does not matter. So that is going to possibly respond to your third question. I can have 1,000 papers published anywhere, but the most important thing is that what has been the impact of the work that what you have done.
Okay.
I would rather come up and say that, okay, fine, if you have published something, the first thing is it related to your work or your field? Number two, I would say that whether it was reviewed properly before it, or editorial reviewed or peer reviewed properly. And third, I would say, what has been the impact of your work? I mean, ideally speaking, you publish one paper, you get a Nobel Prize. One paper is good enough. You publish 1,000 papers, nobody reads it. It will not have any. It does, because the key part is impact. Impact is that what has been the benefit, how the world has benefited out of it. There has to be some kind of a, and that is true not only for your publishing but the overall EB1A mandate. The whole idea is that, do you have some kind of a constituency or a beneficiaries who have benefited out of your work or because of your field? Actually, if you are able to prove that, then it makes more sense for EB1A. Just trying to fit into metrics, I published 50 papers and 30 papers, because if you are a research scholar, citations may make a value here, because citations might have an impact. But even there is a case law that says that even citations are not mandatory for the purpose of EB1A. So
Okay.
it's to that extent. So I think that's all I think we have for today. Rest of the question, guys, we will take it up. If you are looking forward to join the next league program, please click the link below. We are happy to help you out. Join us, where we will assess your profile through our director of admissions. And if you have more questions or want to join this show like what Lena had today, please write to us. We'll be happy to take you up on the show. So wish you all the best. Thank you very much and have a wonderful weekend, friends. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Ranjit. Bye.